Would you look at that view? Stunning. Came in across the ferry into the Daintree last night. Stayed the night, just a little beach spot in Cow Bay. This morning, planted some trees at Daintree Life, which was sort of the point of coming up here. Since day dot, been looking for a way to, I guess, offset the emissions from travelling around Australia in a car. I came across the Rainforest 4 Alliance, which is a company that works doing revegetation projects. For a small donation, you can essentially offset your emissions, whether it be for a vehicle or for a business, whatever it is you want to offset. If anyone's interested in donating towards this cause, I'll put a link in the bio down the bottom. It was great. I got to meet some of the locals this morning. Inadvertently gained a free campsite tonight out of that. One of the local guys was stoked to hear that I'd driven up here just to plant trees. Yeah, so free campsite. Can't complain about that. I really haven't got a proper bearing of my surroundings here. The park is tall and wide. So I'm just gonna relax tomorrow, venture out a little bit further. Yeah. The Daintree is the oldest surviving rainforest in the world, potentially 180 million years old. This heritage-listed area is home to the highest number of plant and animal species that are rare or under threat of extinction, and a rarity of plant species that holds massive potential for undiscovered plant medicines. The Daintree is also a massive carbon sink, sequestering millions of tons of carbon dioxide every year. After a few emails, I was put in contact with Connie and Dave at Daintree Life, who live and operate here in the Daintree, managing revegetation projects. If you're interested in offsetting your emissions, please check the link in the description below.
They sort of sign off on it, we then prepare it and plant it, and it means this whole section of road, council never have to maintain again. They slash it 6 times a year. It's a huge cost. And of course the weeds are no good to wildlife, whereas all of these fruits and flowers, whether it's butterflies need it, beetles, cassowaries, tree kangaroos, and that's what we're gradually doing, is working around, looking at big weedy strips. The next one we're looking at is a huge area further north, it's about 5,000 trees.
When do you think you'll head over there?
It's all about funding, so it's unfortunately the guy that's funded these, he does a lot of funding for us. They're an organisation called Rainforest 4, and they do land buyback, give it back to National Park up here.
Yeah, I think that's actually how I stumbled across you guys. That was the connection, I think. Yeah.
And he funds a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hopefully we see a cassowary on Cassowary Day.
He turns up every day.
Surely if the cassowary is attracted to this little patch, we must be putting in the right plants, right?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously they're babies,
yeah,
but it's all stuff that belongs in the area.
Yeah.
And every tree is more fruit, more food. Tree kangaroos just eat the leaves.
Yep.
We've got things like pink Eodia. It's the only food tree for the Ulysses blue butterfly. So everything depends on everything. It's just, we put in a really good mix. Oh, you got 2 more. Oh. That is a peanut tree. Actually, orange fruited currajong. That's the food plant for about 3 different butterflies there. Highly edible. Tastes like peanuts. But we're after the seed.
Oh, you're planting them?
We'll collect them,
yeah,
germinate them,
yep,
get them up to this sort of size, and then put them back in the ground.
So with the small pot, super natives, the easiest way is grab a stem, tap, just leave it on the ground. We'll pick them up later. If they weren't quite fitting, just teach them a lesson. We used to be so precious. Hey, we're getting only 100% survival.
You're vicious, Dave. Let's get to work. I'm grubby, worked up a bit of a sweat. So it's time to cool off. Just heading down to one of the local swimming holes. Apparently croc safe. Fingers crossed.
Don't miss it. I'm ready to jump for it.
It has something to do with the
Let me hop.
You'll be scaring them before you know it. Watch this.
So refreshing. That's going to be a daily. Alright, let's go explore this rainforest. Okay, mate. G'day, I'm just catching up with Dave and Connie from Daintree Life. We're just at their place. You can see behind me here a lot of the seedlings which will end up going into those cleared spots in the forest. We've also got a little bat flying fox rescue operation going on here. As we learnt, if you're listening in the previous episode, guano makes rainforest. The bats are a really important part of the ecology up here. Return nutrients back into the soil. So doing some great work up here. You're upside down, Ariel.
She says that's a normal way for a bat, but we can do this.
Oh, good morning. Where did Ariel come from?
So she was scooped out of a fishing pond, hence the name Ariel,
Of
like
course,
the Little Mermaid.
she's a mermaid.
How pretty? No?
Got a wing.
So this is the wing.
Wow.
It's quite amazing, incredibly strong. Well, it's a strong membrane in a sense, but it doesn't handle things like barbed wire very well.
No.
Quite elastic,
Yeah.
and they've actually their wing structure is basically, or the bone structure is similar to a human. Thumb and four fingers. See if she'll do it again for me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of those has got 3 bone sections and knuckles, just like us.
Potentially our distant relatives.
These guys do not echolocate like the microbats, but they have got really good hearing, amazing eyesight. Do you want me to turn her over again?
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's about 20
Do it her
times,
way.
20 times our vision at night.
Phenomenal sense of smell.
The ears going.
Yep.
What's going on?
Just alert, aware. This is where they go after any that have been injured and they're on medications are up there in the hospital cage. Then they come down into here to build their flight back up
It's the playroom.
until release. At night we hear them just flying back and forth in here.
Who is this?
So this is Benji. He's a spectacled flying fox.
Beautiful coat.
Amazing colouring. You can see why they're called spectacled.
And how did he come to be in your care?
So he was hanging alone in a tree in Port Douglas, and one of the things that we do say and try and educate is that a bat on its own in the daytime is in trouble. He's very small for what he should be. He's basically miniaturised. He should be a lot bigger than he is, so we don't really know. It's as if he's he's quite a delightful little guy.
Very calm.
He is, and that's another thing, is that we're not sure whether he was hand raised by somebody and shouldn't have been. Say hi. That's a weird thing looking at you, isn't it?
It is.
Is this my best side? Okay, we're going to see if you can fly.
Oh, look at that.
We've got other ways of testing, but what we're looking for is that where they dip and then rise. If they're rising, it's the power stroke.
Yep.
And that shows a lot more strength than just fluttering across the cave.
Yeah, right.
Hang on the ropes.
Jungle gym.
Yeah, yeah. And it's teaching, they're learning to manoeuvre around things that move. Because in the wild, they're going to have to manoeuvre around trees
and
vines,
vines,
and all that
yeah,
sort of stuff. So all of this just gives them that learning. Usually fine-tune it down there. The thing with it, of course, is that if you're not sure, you then want to go through
Big stretch.
stages.
Good morning. It's currently 7 a.m, 7:45 Far North Queensland time. One of the locals I met yesterday told me about some waterfalls that are, I guess, a bit of a secret. Got to hike up a creek to get there. So, just trudging through the water. So it's apparently about an hour and a half up the creek. The rainforest terrain is basically so dense that most of the way you have to actually walk in the creek. This section here is a little bit deeper, so I'm going to try and cut around through these trees. Fun times. If you're going to take on little hikes, adventures like this, be sure to tell someone that you're coming out and exactly where you went, and just be smart about it. That watercolor is also worth mentioning. This is dry season, so the conditions are going to be way different. In fact, probably wouldn't recommend doing this in the wet season. At this point, it's mostly just walking through ankle deep and then cutting through the forest. Whoop. Ankle deep. Alright, so terrain is changing. Check this out. climbing on rocks in wet shoes while holding a camera. I hope it looks amazing for you guys. Am I in Bali? Is this an Insta swing? My thighs are burning. And there's still more to go. I'm not sure what the time is yet, but up we go. Oh man, this is getting pretty extreme. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even really sure if I'm heading up the right creek anymore. There is something resembling a waterfall there. Top. This last section down here has been about a 60-degree angle climbing up. What's at the top? Alright, so I'm just traversing across a little bit away from the falls to try and get up to the top. I should probably stop. Whew. So I got stuck up there, couldn't get any further, so I've retired back downstream to one of the little splash pools here. It's time for a swim. Oh, I am stuffed. But I've come to realize something. In a climax rainforest like this, all of the plants, the animals as well, they have to be super opportunistic. You know, when a big tree falls, there's an opportunity for smaller trees to flourish. I don't know, I feel like there's some sort of metaphor for life in there. Anyway, I feel like this might be a nice note to leave the episode on. Oh, be good.